Okay, everybody, we are finally here. I'm going to walk you through exactly how I would do this for a landlord, but I'm going to pretend that you are the actual landlord. And you're gonna see how I would go through this with the landlord, just like I have with all the other landlords I've gone through when I was making this sale. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to say that this is 100% success rate, but it's going to significantly increase your ability to make the sale, and it's also going to increase your ability to get the landlord to purchase the furniture, right? And before I was using this, it was a lot more difficult to actually make the sale. But once I was starting to use this, I saw a higher conversion rate. Okay. So, like I said, I'm just going to walk through this as if you were to be the landlord. And please bear with me as I go through this. It's going to feel a little awkward for me because I'm not actually talking to somebody, but I'm going to try my best to pretend that that's actually happening. All right. So, let's say that this is actually like a Zoom call that I'm doing with the landlord. I'm not even meeting them in person. And what happens is I'm showing them the numbers through here. Say we already met in person very quickly. I looked at the property. I told them that this is something that I would be doing, and that I'd love to schedule a second meeting with them to show them the actual numbers, the data, because I always try and push for the data as soon as possible, right? So let's say that this is actually a Zoom call, which is a very common thing to do nowadays, and I'm walking them through this on a Zoom call, right? Okay, so hey, how's it going, Mr. Landlord? Build rapport, talk with them about different things, and go through whatnot. So I put together this is the report that I put together for your property specifically. I tried to gather as much information as I possibly could to try and figure out what the the actual average annual revenue would be for your specific property, right? So one thing about Airbnb is that there are the annual revenue can fluctuate quite a bit, right? So if you have a 3 bedroom compared to a 4 bedroom, the revenue prices will be they'll be different, right? The 4 bedroom will naturally make more money, but the revenue itself will change depending on where you're located within the city. Because we're in the tourism industry, it's not as very clean cut as annual rentals, right? With annual rentals, you just go and you look at your neighbors and you say, how much are your neighbors renting out their home for? Okay, cool. I have a very similar product. I'll probably rent it out for the same amount that they're making out, and it's very easy to figure out what your annual revenue is going to be. However, with Airbnb, there's a lot of other nuances that come into play that can change how much revenue you'll potentially make, right? So, literally having a backyard compared to not having a backyard makes a big difference. Having a dining room compared to not having a dining room will make a big difference. How well you can design the home and how cool you can make it look, or fit the feel of the guests that are going to be coming to you, is going to make a big difference on your revenue, right? So all these different little things come into play. And what I've done for you is I've gathered the homes that I think fit the best quality. They match up best with your home, but also how I intend to put your home together, how I want it to be designed, how I want it to look, the features, the qualities, all the things that we're going to need for your home to hit, for it to be actually a very profitable home and hit the revenue number that I believe your home is capable of doing, right? So to start off, to quickly walk you through this, right? So I have a link to your home, and I've been using this link here to see the home, to figure out all the different little things. I've already walked through it, so I have an idea of what it feels like inside, the size of it, the size of the rooms, things like that. But I've been using this link here specifically to put together this report. We know it's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath. This section here, I just added in the notes of all of the features within the home that I think are really important. So I mentioned like the high ceilings, the what the kitchen looks like, the concrete floors, the backyard, stuff like that. Those are things that are really important for it to be successful, right? And then here I actually wrote in my personal opinion of what I believe the home needs to look like for you to actually be successful. So the way that it needs to be designed, the feel that it needs, what features are going to matter more than other features, right? And so I'm going to leave this here for you to actually read yourself later on, but I will essentially be talking about it, all of these different things, as I actually go through the comparable properties and what I think your home actually is going to need, right? But I just want to show you it based off of the other properties that we have here. So that moves on to the next section here, which is the actual comparable properties, right? So I get my data from AirDNA. So AirDNA is a site that collects all of the Airbnbs across the entire world. They track their calendars, they track all their information, and they compile all this information onto their software program, which I have access to. And then I've actually downloaded all of their information so that I get it into this Excel sheet here. And I've been working with this data and different locations for quite a while, so I have a really good understanding of how this data all works. But I just want to give you a brief showing of what it looks like, right? So you have an idea. So as you can see here, this is the data, right? And at the top, we have the different data points. We have the days available, the title, the occupancy, bedrooms, bathrooms, and every single row that we're looking at here is a different Airbnb itself, right? And this is for Austin, Texas. So if I were to scroll all the way down, we have like 7,799 listings that we're reviewing, right, to try and figure out how profitable these homes will be. So there's quite a bit of data here that I've gone through to get to the ones that I think are the most comparable to you. Now, obviously, I have a process, a way of organizing this to sort it into what, where we've gotten to now. But essentially, your information is being pulled from this tab here. So all of these data, all of these rows that we're seeing here are different Airbnbs. So each row is a different Airbnb that is a 3 bedroom, 2 bath within the East Cesar Chavez region. So I'm trying to find the region section for you here. So as you can see right here, if I double click it, it shows you East Cesar Chavez. If it's highlighted green, it's good data. If it's red, it's bad data. I've also pulled up the 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath, which are closer to your actual size home, right? So 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath. In this case, it doesn't make a huge difference, but it does make a little bit of a difference to have that extra half bath. So I wanted to make sure I was pulling both of these set data sets, right? And so what I've done is I've selected the properties that I feel are closest to what your property looks like, right? And closest to what I plan on doing with your property, okay? So the three that I have are these three here, and you can see the revenue from each one of these on the left here. And if you were to scroll across, you're going to see all the different data points, like I was just showing you from that sheet. And all of that information is going to be in here, with the very last one being the actual link to the listings themselves. However, I've also added this section here where it gives you the link to each one, and they're the exact same order as the ones you're seeing here, right? And this will allow you to click and open up those actual listings and go into them. So what I want to do with you right now is walk you through each one of these listings and show you why I believe it's comparable to your property and how you would be able to do just as well, right? So the very first one is going to be the one that's the most comparable. Oh, not that one. This one. This one is the most comparable to your home specifically, right? You can notice that it has this really big open room in here, which if we were to look at your property, you obviously know you have that big, great open room, which I absolutely love. I think it's going to be the killer, like the most important piece of this whole thing. The reason that this home does so well is because it just has such a big room, but they've also designed it really, really well, right? These lights are very unique. The way that the furniture is put together, it's very unique. But you couldn't do this without a big room to start off with, right? So the fact that you have this big room and you have these concrete floors in this black gray black I don't know what you're I'm trying to think of the name of this that goes all the way across, because you have all of this, it allows for us to have a similar product as this, and all we have to do is design it, right? All we have to do is design this home in a really fun and unique way. And you can see it looks really great. Now these have very unique windows up here, which is great, but your home has a lot of windows, like a lot of windows that come through in the top floors that allow for a lot of natural light, which I absolutely love because that's what they're doing as well. Now, one thing I want to point out is that their kitchen it's fairly tiny, and it has like this like suburban, you know, very typical family type feel to it, right? There's nothing really special about this kitchen. It doesn't stand out in any kind of way, where I believe that your kitchen actually does. So whereas it seems like they're almost trying to hide their kitchen, you know what I mean? They're not presenting it a lot. They just kind of like a quick photo at it with it, and that's about it. And they're highlighting their big room. I feel like that we could be also pushing your kitchen as being a nice kitchen that shows well. You can even get like a little island in here so that it's cut off from the actual living room itself. But I feel like this kitchen will show well. The cupboards kind of have this sort of Texas feel, like you don't really see this type of cabinets in other locations. So that once again gives a little Texas feel, which is really important to people traveling to Texas because they want to feel like they're actually in Texas, right? And so that's a key part there. So as you can see, this home is very similar in size and style to yours, and so it's just a matter of putting the home together in a very similar feel. Now, bedrooms are very easy to do when it's designing. It's essentially like a kit in a sense, right? Like if you have all these, you have the sides, you have the lamps, you have the headboard, you have something back here to accent the wall. If you do all these things, it's very easy. Rooms are very easy to set up, but you need to have all these different features. Now you can see they have a ping pong table here. They have, once again, another bedroom. That's the same idea. I think the lighting on this room or the photos on these rooms are not done very well, but you can see that they're kind of going with like lights out and these sort of neon colors coming through here. And this is all to pull in the type of guests that they would actually be wanting to attract, right? Which is most likely like the bachelorette type groups. And I know at first glance you may think to yourself like, oh, I don't want to have people partying in here. But if we're pushing for bachelorette groups to be coming through, I'm telling you right now from my past experience, bachelorette parties are the absolute best people you can have come in here because they pay way more than everybody else. It's a group of women. None of them complain because it's a group of them. So there's not one person who wants to complain and bother everybody. They take care of the home significantly better than bachelorette parties. Not that bachelor parties. Not that bachelor parties destroy the home in any way, but they do take care of the home a little bit better than they normally would. And as long as you have the rules in there and you have a deposit with them, they're not going to be trashing the home in any way. They're not going to be blaring music. Like you can still control it. These bachelorette parties are the thing that I focused on the most with all of my homes. And we, like, honest to God, never had complaints with these bachelorette parties because they just don't they leave the home and they go and do whatever they're doing outside of the home, and they come back and they use this place to sleep, and that's the whole idea of it. And they just want this big open space to be able to sort of hang out in the mornings and before they take off. And so anyways, I promise you, it's not as scary as you think it would be. I have a lot of experience with it. It is very easy to control and very easy to work with, and they make for absolutely amazing clients because they just pay so much and they take care of the home well. So, anyways, I'm going to keep going through here to say that as you can see, they've done well with their backyard. Like they've done well-ish, I would say. I think it's a pretty decent backyard, but there's so many things that you could be doing more that would add in more fun to this listing, which is what people want. They're on vacation. They want to be entertained. They want to be able to do things. And especially if you're in Austin, it's beautiful out all the time. It's a year-round type place for the most part. And so the backyard should really be capitalized on, right? And I think this is an area where we can actually do better than them when it comes to this home. So if you were like, you see that they have these benches here, which is, I mean, it looks cool, but that looks very uncomfortable. I have no idea who's ever going to be sitting like that. And then they obviously have this nice setup, which is great. I think that's great that they actually put that together and they have the fireplace. But I just feel like there's more that they could be doing. They could have bagel, they could have cornhole, they could have more seating, more comfortable seating, swings. They could have a hammock. They could have a lot of different things back there to really like push it to the next level. And then really taking a lot of photos of everything back there to give it an even better feel. So I think that that's something that we could actually be doing better than this home. And mind you, this is the home doing the best out of all of them, right? So they also have a hot tub, so that's very key. Like that would be something that we'd want to make sure we're doing as well. You can see it's just a little blow up one, so you don't need anything like extravagant. But if we did get like a regular hot tub, that would go pretty far because it would be showing off that we have something better. If we get hanging lights that go over this, so that it's like somewhere people can go at night and they can have some drinks in there, like that's awesome, right? That's really going to stand out. It's going to make us better than them. So as you can see, this is a really nice home, and it's very, very comparable to your home. Like we're looking at a home that is very, very comparable. You have the exact same sort of setup. You even have a really nice design here. There's a lot of lights, good sized windows, and you have a great side backyard, but also an actual full backyard, which I absolutely love because it just means that we can do so much with it. I see like cornhole and games down here going. I see like swinging chairs, like hanging chairs. I see like a whole little setup there we can hang out. You could put potentially a hot tub over on this gravel area over here, and then hanging lights all the way through the trees so that it shows even better at night and people can hang out there at night. Like those are the things that we got to be doing to really stand out from the competition here, right? And make the best possible product ever so that we can hit these revenue numbers that we're looking at, okay? And so that home's making $110,000. So if we can just match what they're doing and even put in a little bit more effort, I feel really confident that we can actually make $110,000 off of that home. But I don't like to project that we're going to do the absolute best. I like to say that we can do a little bit better. So let me keep going through these properties and keep giving you my opinion on them and what we're looking at. Now the next one here is super interesting. I absolutely love this one. I'm happy I pulled it up. I'm happy it exists because it's proof to how interior designing can make such a huge difference on your revenue. So this is a great example of a home where they've clearly designed it in a really, really like fun feel. There's nothing super special about this kitchen, except for the color coordination on everything is done really well. Even the comforters that they're using and the lamp styles, it all flows together really, really well. So if you get an interior designer in here who knows what they're doing, who can do something like this, it's going to make a big difference, right? Now, the reason that this home is extremely impressive By the way, this is like the Austin feel, right? This is the new modern Austin feel that people are willing to pay a lot of money to experience. The reason that this home though is so impressive is because they actually don't have a dining room. So this is actually a small home. And when I was going through all the other properties over here to see, what are the attributes of these homes that are allowing them to not hit the revenue numbers that these other ones are hitting, one of the main things was that they didn't have a dining room. However, this home is so well designed that people don't care. They're just like, I want to stay in such a home with such a cool vibe to it. Look at hanging lights, hanging chairs. These things make a difference. This little outdoor area makes a difference for people. So neon lights, I think is going to be something that we'll definitely need to do. But as you can see, just a really cool feel to the entire home. The home itself is not like I think your home is a better product than their home, right? It's a better design, whatever you want to call it. But look at this, the way that they painted this around here, and they have the extra bed in there just to make extra room. I think it's just really smart, right, what they've done. So if we can do something just as smart as they've done, with a better product, right, a better home, then odds are we can do even better than they're doing. And so that's what I'm proposing that we actually do when it comes to this, right? Now, the last one I want to show you, sorry, that one was doing $99,000 throughout the entire year. One thing I do want to mention here is that this data points, they're based off of the way that they come through is AirDNA, the software program where I got all this information from. They track these Airbnbs on a daily basis. And as you can see, this one's been tracked for 363 days, 360 days, 349 days. So pretty well a full year all the way through, right? However, these past 360 days that they've been tracked were partially COVID time. And so their revenue most likely has been decreased. And I feel very, very confident to say that has been decreased because Austin is a city. And so their revenue is actually decreased. And so I've actually increased these numbers by only 10%. Now, Chicago was lowered by 40%. And that's a very major city. And I honestly believe that I could increase these by 20% and feel very confident about it, but I'm only increasing it by 10%. Okay. So, anyways, I just want to make sure you know that, because if in the actual numbers here, you can see they're a little bit different. Now, this is not the actual exact same ones. I can show you the exact same ones to go through, but regardless, anyways, this is how much that home made, or technically with a 10% increase. Okay, that's 99%. Now, this last one here is what I would consider to be a very standard type of home, that I don't recommend, but I'm showing you what the abilities are with just a standard proper, not proper, it's just a standard home, right? So this is a nice home. It's got decently high ceilings. Haven't really done anything exciting with the home. It's just a very typical type design. Bedrooms, bathrooms. The dining room is, it's not very large, but it is what it is. So you can obviously tell right away that your home is significantly better than this home product wise. Even the backyard is a tiny little thing, right? And this home here is making $82,000, right? So you have a significantly better home, and we have the plans to put it together in a significantly cooler way with a really strong Austin feel to it, similar to what we're seeing with these other products here, right? And we're even going to amp up the backyard as much as we possibly can because you have so much extra space back here that we want to take advantage of that. So if all of these things were to be true, we believe that we can. I strongly believe that we can do within this $100 to $110,000 range. However, I just want to be conservative with these numbers, and so what I've done is this number here is the average of all three of these. So even if we did, let's say, everything right, but for whatever reason we just we didn't hit the $120,000 that we want to make, but we did 97,000. What would the numbers look if we hit 97,000? Okay, so that's what I want to show you and I want to walk you through. Now, a couple of things I want to point out first is that here are my personal notes on each one of these homes that we just went through, so you can actually read through that later and get an understanding as to how your home directly stacks up with those homes. If you want to refer back to that, that's where you can do that. And they're in the exact same order as these three here, okay? And you can see you got the links here, so you can pop them open and take a look at them, all right? Now, this is once again the property projection, right? So this is how much I think this home is going to make based off of the comparable properties and the way that we plan on doing it. Now, everything that I've done here is I've broken down all of the numbers. So if we go forward with this, right, and you take on, and we're doing a management, and I'm managing this home for you, there's going to be additional expenses that you're going to be taking on. And so the idea here is, do you still walk away with more money, even if you take on more expenses, because we can already see that you're planning on making more money, right? But there's additional expenses, right? Because if you were to have an annual tenant in here, they're covering the utilities, they're covering the internet, they're covering Netflix, whatever it may be. And now that's on you, right? So now you have to pay that. Plus, there's also newer expenses like cleaning the home and keeping amenities in the home, like soap, shampoo, all of those kind of things as well. And if furniture breaks, because it's going to need to be furnished, right? So if furniture were to break, like a chair were to break or something like that, you need to have some money set aside to actually pay for those things as well. So let's take a look at all the expenses and see how this actually ends up coming out. Now, the way that Airbnb revenue comes through, if you're not familiar with it, for on the host side, is that we make a nightly rate and we make a cleaning fee. It's just if you were to go and book a home on Airbnb, it's the expenses are sort of split up, and it goes nightly rate, cleaning fee, service fee, hotel tax, and all those kind of compile up to what you end up paying. But the stuff that's coming to the actual host themselves is the nightly rate and the cleaning fee. Okay. And typically, over an entire year, about 78% of the entire revenue is going to come through as nightly rate, and about 22% is going to come through as cleaning revenue. Okay, so I know it says fee, but it's cleaning revenue. Okay, so in total, we're looking at about 97,000, but it's split up here. And the way that I've broken this down is all the expenses that you would end up paying to see if you come out with some additional profit. And the first thing I want to point out here is that I've added in the rent that you were looking to get, which is 4,500. Now I've considered this as an expense because I'm coming to you and telling you that you can make more than that, right? So keep in mind, this is going into your pocket, but I'm just showing you that you will receive this, you'll pay off your expenses, and what's left over. And what's left over is $6,172. Okay, so this is what I'm saying to you, is that you're going to receive your $4,500 every single month, and you're also going to receive an additional $6,000 over the entire year. And that's a rent increase of about 11.43%. So that is an increase about 4 years from now. That's what you're going to actually be getting if you're to be renting this out full time moving forward. With a 3% increase year over year on rent, that's where you would end up if you were able to actually increase it by 3% year over year. We are automatically bumping you up to 11.4.3% in additional profit, and that's if we only hit our 97,000, when we kind of feel like we can potentially do more, right? So this is sort of like our minimum that we're looking at. Now, the additional fees that you're going to be spending is you're going to have cleaning fees. There's going to be you're going to be taking on the gas. You're going to take on the electric. You're going to take on the internet. There's going to be maintenance. I like to put $200 in here for maintenance. You may not end up using this. It may just go right directly back into your pocket. But it's always nice to have like that little cushion. You're a real estate investor. You obviously know that. That's kind of how it works, right? And then the last thing here is actually amenities as well. So amenities is going to be our soaps, our shampoos, all these things. $100 is actually a lot on a monthly basis for all of this. However, it's once again a nice thing to have a cushion on, right? In case the vacuum goes and stops working for whatever reason, then you'd have to buy a new vacuum. And so there's some money put aside for those types of things. Okay. And then the management fee. So for me to actually be doing all this work for you, we in my company, we have a 25% management fee, which comes out to about $1,500 every single month. But this management fee, mind you, is only taken from the nightly rate, not the entire total revenue. It's only from the nightly rate. Okay. So this is just how we operate. This is how we work. And the revenue is going to come through together, but we're only going to be taking our cut from the nightly rate. All right. And we do have a cleaning service as well, a cleaning company. So we can do the cleanings for you as well. That's just a part of the entire process. And the idea here is that the total expenses actually come out to about $91,000, and you walk away once again with an additional $6,000 over the $54,000 that you're already looking for. So I know I said a lot there, and I covered a lot of different things, and I've gone over all the different comparable properties. We've looked at the different homes and how they stack up. I've given you sort of a vision of how I think your home should look, what we would need to do, how we would need to do it. I've been doing this for a while. I have quite a few other homes that I've already been doing this with. I have other landlords that I've been doing this with, and like I mentioned in our original call, the reason I have reached out to you is because I know that your home can make more as an Airbnb for you on a full-time basis than it could as a annual rental. And I will be doing all of the work. I will be doing everything it takes to manage this home and keep this up and running and how it should be. And all you need to do is get this furnished, which I'm going to help you with. So I will make sure to bring in the design to make sure that it looks similar to this, if not better than this, in the way that needs to be done. But you will need to finance the furniture to get that up and running. And then from there, moving forward, I will be doing all of the work. And the idea is that you're just going to be taking in additional revenue from there. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's it, guys. Boom, done. That's it. I just went through everything. At this point, obviously, the landlord's going to be asking questions. The As we're going through, the landlord would have been asking a bunch of questions at the same time as well. But what I was really trying to do there is just give you as much content as I possibly could about what the actual experience is for me. And honestly, like it is very, very similar to that, right? Now at this point, you've explained everything to them. They're gonna ask little questions about this, that, and what about this, and how to do that, and they're gonna have concerns like about the parties and the larger groups coming through, and you have to be able to address them and talk about the different ways that you plan on dealing with them. And I tried to hit on some of those objectives as I was going through the entire process as well, right? And think about how much credibility I built by going through this, explaining to the landlord everything that their home needs to be better, to how we're going to do this better, how it needs to be designed, how we need to make it look, how we're the type of guests that we're going to be getting, the like the way that we're going to design it for the guests, the way we're going to do everything that the best home is doing and more, right? Like I've built so much credibility with this landlord just by going through this sheet. And at the very end, I've proven to them that they're going to make more money. They're going to walk away with more. I'm going to do all of the work. I'm going to help them get everything set up. They're going to pay for the furniture. And then moving forward, they're just going to be making additional money. And so if you can go through this, you have built all the credibility that you should need to build. You're hitting all these concerns as you're going through this as well. And if you do all of this, if you start off by doing all of this, and then the landlord now wants to know, like, if you're good to manage, they're obviously going to believe that you're the right person to manage because you know all of these things, right? So that is the sales pitch. That is how you walk a landlord through this template. That is how you get them to believe in you. And I'm going to end it here so you can rewatch this and get a feel for it. You can understand the points that I'm talking about. But if you realize, guys, this is an accumulation of everything that we have gone through. I couldn't get to this point without going through every other step prior to it, because now I know Austin. I know this area. I know what's needed. I know how to speak about it. I know what the best product is and how we can match it up. I've seen their home. I've gone through this guy's home. I know all the things that he has in it, and I can speak to it very, very well. But you have to go through everything else to get to this point. And yeah, that's essentially it. So I hope that is helpful for you guys. I'm thrilled that I was able to do this with you, and just consume this as much as you possibly can. Come back to it as many times as you possibly need, and do what you got to do, guys. So get out there, do this work, and make it happen. I know you can do it. I know you can. I know you can. You have everything you need. I know you can do it.